All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and comment and like and do all those other things. Okay, we got that out of the way. My guest today, Rosa Laricchiuta. I think I said that as well as I'm going to. She is currently the lead singer of the band VIXEN. She's the new singer for the band VIXEN. If you're an American rock fan, maybe this is your first time hearing about Rosa, although she's been in tours with the TSO, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. But if you're French Canadian, you probably already know about her and her time on the TV show La Voix, which is the voice in Canada. And so maybe some of you are familiar. She's got a great story and an interesting story. VIXEN kept it very quiet about her debut. I was at that debut show. She's got a few under her belt right now, and we're fortunate enough to have her here to talk to us today about VIXEN and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody I'd rather waste time with than you. All right, please welcome Rosa Laricchiuta. And there she is. How was that pronunciation?
It was perfect. You spoke Italian and French.
That's right. Suddenly, I'm multilingual.
I love it.
Rosa, I'm so glad that you're able to do this. As I said, I was at that first show back in June, your first show with VIXEN at the Honda Center in an arena. We're going to talk about that. But before we get involved with that, I want to talk about I want to go back a little bit because you're from Montreal, Quebec. Is that where you grew up?
Yes, born and raised.
And tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up there.
Oh, I love my city. I love it here. Great sports, horrible winters, but I played hockey for a very long time. And so, you know, I love winter. It's my favorite season. Obviously, we have 4 seasons here. I know. I mean, the culture is amazing. We do have a wide music scene. International Jazz Festival. Restaurants are amazing. So yeah, I love it here. Love it very much. And Montreal is great. Have you ever been?
I don't think I have been to. It's funny, as I grew up in New York City, so I wasn't that far away.
True.
I don't think I've been. It's funny you talk about hockey and women playing hockey. I was just talking the other day. There was a hockey player named Manon Rhéaume. I think I said it right.
I believe you just said that. Yeah, I played with her. I played ringuette with her.
How crazy!
You know what ringuette is?
No.
Ringuette is the straight stick with like the donut, the rubber donut that you put the stick in the donut. And I played for like, oh my goodness, 20 years. And then I switched to hockey. But then I discovered singing. And I remember playing with Manon Rhéaume, and she went, I'm telling you, if I would not be a singer today, I'd definitely be in the NHL.
It's so cool. And, you know, for those watching who might not remember, she was the only woman to play professionally. She didn't make it to the NHL, which nowadays I think it could happen. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. She was the first female, to make it. No, absolutely. It definitely could have been. But yeah, it's hockey is huge here, huge, and we have the best hockey fans. Go Habs, go! I have to throw that in there.
What an exciting thing, though, for young women. If we could have a female hockey player, in the NHL. I mean, it would show people that they can do things that for a long time were said impossible. And she was definitely the closest. Hopefully it's something like that'll happen. But yeah, what a small world that I just happened to be talking about that.
Yeah.
And that you played with her. Now, when did you discover that singing was something you were good at?
Oh, it was so random. I was watching a movie, came out of the movie theater. There was this big karaoke pub. It was opening night, and I was with my cousin, and I'm like, let's just go for fun and sing a song. And the minute I started singing, I chose like a really safe song. Like I remembered it was La Isla Bonita from Madonna. super safe and easy. And I was singing and I was like, oh my God, this is fun. And then the reaction, I think, is what got me. When you finish singing, everybody's like, yeah. And then as soon as I put the mic down, got a little tap on the shoulder, and the owner of this huge karaoke company was like, hey, do you want to work for me? And then it just, that's how I developed this muscle. I was like the hot chick working in Montreal, downtown, all over clubs. I mean, I was doing private parties with expos, like back in the day. It was crazy. And it was like, everybody was calling and like, we want the girl. So I was making good money. I was having the time of my life. I was working 6-7 nights a week. It was awesome. And I was singing everything from French, Latin, Italian. I mean, you name it, all the different genres. That's how I fell in love with singing. It was just a fluke. I was just like, let's go. And it just made me feel so good. And that's what got me.
It's one of those stories that sounds like a publicist created it. You know, I read your bio and it says, yeah, she was discovered singing karaoke. How cool. This many years later, it certainly has paid off. How many languages do you speak?
English, French, Italian, and maybe half of Spanish. Yeah.
Well, it obviously paid off. And as I said to people, in the introduction, people who might be French Canadian may already be exposed to your music. You have solo records. Your first music was in French, though, and then I mentioned La Voix, which is the voice in Canada. You were in 2015, season 3. This is a huge deal. How do you end up on that show?
Oh, in all honesty, I didn't even want to go. I mean, I know that I'm a hockey player and I'm competitive with sports, but not with singing. I was happy in my little world of, singing in little clubs and bars. And it was my husband, my boyfriend at the time, who's like, why don't you go? It's be a good opportunity. You just meet new people and, different challenges, and it'll be great. And I'm like, no. So season 1, I was like, nah. Season 2, nah. I just never wanted to go. And then season 3, I remember waiting in line and I was like, oh my God, this is so long. Oh my God, when is it over? Oh my God, this is so long. And so, yeah, I sang, I just went in there singing my favorite song at the time. I love Pink, and I was jamming on Pink, and I was always singing her songs live, and I just felt like I needed to sing Pink. So I did Pink, and I could barely hear myself. It was just like, I didn't really want it. I was just like, whatever, and yeah. So sure enough, as soon as I finished, they pulled me over and say, can you go talk to somebody for like an interview? And then they called me, and Jason, I hung up on them. I was like, yeah, okay. I thought somebody was playing a prank. I was like, whatever. Oui, okay, bonjour, oui, bye. And I hung up. And then they called me back, and I'm like, oh shit, I think this is for real. But it was indeed a nice experience, so I'm really, I never ever in my wildest dreams thought I'd be like, you go for a blind audition and you get, I remember singing it like it was yesterday. I was singing and everybody was loud. The crowd was loud because, it's controlled. They're telling you to clap. And then when they press on that button, the coaches, it's so loud. And I'm like, how are they going to hear me singing if everything's so loud? And then I look up and I see 4 chairs turn, and I was just like, whoa, it was crazy. I saw the goosebumps, but it was like a really good, to make it to the finals. That was insane.
One of the great things about YouTube is that you can follow that whole journey. People all over the world can watch all those videos from the beginning to the end. You can follow your career through your tattoos as well. There's a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more now than there was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I also like that, people want to hear you sing. There's plenty of clips of you singing all different covers, all different songs, appearing on that show, singing with Melissa Etheridge. I mean, there was so many opportunities that came out of that.
100%. I would not be here today if I hadn't have made the move to go audition for The Voice, for La Voix, and the encounters as well. So my coach at the time is not my best friend. He's my brother. And when I'm not on traveling to USA or with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and when I'm home, and he has a show, I'm always welcome, and I share the stage with him, and I sing a few songs for him, and it's we have an amazing friendship, and I'm very grateful for that, and I love his band like they're my family as well. So and like you said, Melissa Etheridge, La Voix brought me to Melissa Etheridge. I mean, I remember sharing the stage with Kelly Clarkson and Def Leppard. I was just like, what? And just best experience ever. Like it was, I still get goosebumps just, and it was a long time ago, but it was just phenomenal time for me.
Following that show, you started to put out solo music. There was an EP, then 3 full-length American albums. I'm going to link your website in the description, so if people want to check that out, they can go there and get more information. So then you did Trans-Siberian Orchestra. When did that start?
That was the year after The Voice. So yeah, that was 2016. So it's going to be my 9th year this year. And they found me on YouTube. Like you're saying, how amazing that, YouTube. Again, I didn't want to put anything out on YouTube. And my husband pushed me. And he's like my biggest supporter, biggest fan. And he's like, you should put video on YouTube, for your fans. And I was like, nah. And then I chose, of course, I chose the most comfortable song I love singing is Like the Way I Do by Melissa Etheridge. So I'm like, okay, I'll put out a cover song. And in fact, that's the one that TSO, the talent coordinator, fell upon with, as well as the one of my, what's he called? Queen. The Show Must Go On was the song that got me to the finals on the show at the moment. So at that moment, so those 2 videos were the ones that that really, changed it for me. It's crazy.
Yeah. So when VIXEN, and I tour manage Stephen Pearcy. I'm on the road. I've seen VIXEN a lot in the last 3 years. And Blas Elias is the drummer for Stephen now. And I said to him, I heard a rumor that Rosa is going to be the singer for VIXEN. And he was a little surprised. And he said, I'm going to call her because you know each other. You're both in that West Coast version.
Yeah, I did get a text from Blas.
And I said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and not ruin the surprise for anyone. It was sort of an interesting thing. On my show, I'm sometimes hard on bands that don't have their original lineups, especially if the original lineup is alive. In the case of VIXEN, though, it seems that Janet and Cher, the other 2 surviving members, have given their blessing towards Roxy continuing with VIXEN. Janet's been on the show and has said that. So it's a little bit different. So Lorraine was in the band for a couple years, and they decided to make a change. I won't get into politics of it because it's not really you got hired to do a job. That's the extent of that. So they knew. Well, first of all, you tell me. How did you find out that they were interested in you? Where did they find you?
So, in fact, I planted the seed because you know about the Monsters of Rock cruise, right? Mm-hmm. I've heard so much about it, but I wanted to get on it. And I was just like, you know what? For the first time in my life, I'm going to use my contacts. So I asked as many musicians as I could. I emailed and text brothers and friends from TSO and other musicians. And I'm like, how could I get on the Monsters of Rock cruise? Here's a contact. Wrote to my contact and be like, hey, my name is Rosa. Dropped all the names. I'm a singer with TSO. I know this guy. I've been praised by this guy and that guy. And I dropped them all. And I've never done that before.
Your husband would be proud of you. Yeah.
I want to say that that I turned 50 this year, and I think that when you turn 50, you get like this, like I don't know, like something possessed me to be like, you know what, I'm going to take charge anyway. So, long story short, I heard back from my contact, which is the manager of VIXEN, and he's like, "Hey, Rosa, I know who you are. I know who you are." And he's like, "Be patient. The lineup's already set. However, maybe we can figure something out." And I'm like, then I saw his number. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to call. And I called, he didn't pick up, left a message. Hey, it's Rosa. Like, I want to talk about the Monsters of Cruise, how we can make this happen. Hung up. He wrote back to me like, I received your call, but just hang tight. Like super cool, professional. It was like, okay, great. Good vibes. And I left it at that. And I'm like, I was okay with that. And then about, I don't know, I would say like a week later, I get the call and I'm like, hello? He's like, what a coincidence. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he's like, I'm the manager of VIXEN, and I just spoke to, so he spoke with another, you know how agents talk to each other, managers and all that. And somebody from Quebec had referred me to him. And he's like, you come highly recommended. I'm like, what? From who? I'm like, what's going on? I don't follow. And he's like, I'm the manager of VIXEN and we're looking for a female singer. Would you be interested? And while he's telling me this, I'm like Googling VIXEN because I have no clue who they are.
Right.
And going back to this karaoke, I sang everything. And, you know, I wasn't like a rocker per se. I love all music and I sing all styles. So I didn't know. And then I was like, oh, so the first thing I said was, holy shit, these girls are badass. Like, it's been my dream to be in an all-girls band. I have a brother. I've always wanted a sister, and now I feel like I have 3 sisters. I'm in another hockey team, okay, a lot smaller. I love everything about VIXEN, everything. So that's how it happened. I planted the seed because of this Monsters of Rock cruise.
It's a great story. Larry Morand is responsible for the Monsters of Rock cruise, and he is the manager of VIXEN. It shows, and let this be a lesson to people. Take a chance and reach out. If you got the goods, don't be scared to put it out because you never know what paths are going to meet. What a coincidence. Now, is VIXEN on the cruise next year?
Absolutely. So I get it. My dream comes true. Plus, it's like, and you're going to be on the cruise next year. I was like, yes.
Well, I'm going to see you on the Lido deck. It's a fun experience. What a great story of how it turns out. So as I said, VIXEN decided that they were going to keep it quiet, that they were going to announce you basically when you hit the stage. And so I was ready. I got the first video of you stepping on stage at 7 o'clock. At 7:01, I was ready to post it on this channel. And then the world was introduced to you. And a lot of people, some people probably had no idea. A lot of these shows, especially an arena show like that, where a lot of tickets were given away, I think a lot of people don't know who's necessarily in every band. And then there was other people, social media was clamoring to find out who was going to be the singer. And rumors were coming out. And Janet had to say, it's not me. And so did you have any rehearsal before that show?
Oh, yeah, of course we did. Yeah, definitely. We rehearsed and it went really well. Immediately, I felt like just so welcomed from the first rehearsal. Yeah.
But it wasn't a lot, though, right? It was pretty quick.
Yeah, but you know, we ran the set, I don't know, 3-4 times. I mean, hey, we're all professionals. We've been doing this for a long time. You know, you come prepared and that's that. And but going back to you mentioned Cher. Cher reached out to me and that meant a lot to me. She reached out and like, you know, hey, congrats. And that was really cool. That I really, really appreciate that.
That's great to hear. And Cher and I spoke about her coming on the show. She's waiting until she has something of her own to promote, but I'm sure she'll do that. But it's nice that she reached out to you, and you're keeping the VIXEN legacy and the music alive for the fans and for the former members and current members as well. So you get a little time to rehearse. You had to learn 11 songs, but you're learning 11 songs you never heard before. It's not like a cover gig where you know the songs.
I know, but the best part of that is that the songs are incredibly melodic, which I love melodic rock. And I mean, I feel like the songs were like made for me. Like it wasn't. You know how I'm going to be honest here, but I'm sure every single, you know, every singer has been through this. But sometimes you learn songs, you're like, oh, I'm just not vibing with it, and I don't feel like it, and the lyrics are not sinking in, and you're like, oh, you know. But I mean, I love every song. I'm not just saying that because I'm the new singer, but I think the songs are great. I love them, and I'm really vibing with them, and I really feel that they suit my voice, you know. So I'm happy. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, they're catchy songs with big hooks. I told Janet when she was on the show, I was late to the VIXEN party. When I was younger, I saw it on MTV, and I knew they were catchy songs. but it was when they were on the Monsters of Rock cruise that I paid attention, and I went, "Wow, VIXEN was a much better live band than I expected." When I met you at the last show, wherever we were, the cities start to sound the same, but it was in Toledo,
Mhm.
Toledo. You said to me, "Which one is Stephen Piercy?" And I said, "Okay." I was shocked. I said, "She's not. You're not a hair metal person
Uh-uh.
necessarily."
No way. You want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
Again, I forget what city we're at because we're like so many places. But so we're about to do sound check, and in comes this tall fella. Obviously, looked really rock. I mean, his fingernails were painted and the shades, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he walks right up to me, like, hey, what's your name and who are you? And I'm like, oh, hi, I'm Rosa. I'm the new singer for VIXEN. And then I shook his hand, and I'm like waiting for him to introduce himself, and then I'm like,
Right.
so what's your name? And he was like taken aback. He kind of like, it was like a 2 second, like, well, I'm Ace.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, great, nice to meet you. I still had no clue who he was. And I look and I see the girls are laughing, and they're like, they love that about me, that I'm like, I didn't know he was Ace from Kiss. I mean, first of all, they all wear makeup, but I mean, I saw the bass, the drum, and I saw the Ace, and I'm like, okay, this guy must be something, he must be big. And then I was like, okay, I get it now. And they were just laughing. I think it's cute, but I'm gonna get educated, I guess. Now
Well,
that I'm,
yes, you're definitely learning fast from this life learn. I think it's cool that you're a little bit of an outsider to
yeah,
that.
Roxy does too. She loves that. I mean, she gets a kick out of it, and she's like, "I love that." I'm like, I'm happy to be here, man. I love meeting everybody and making new acquaintances and stuff like that. And I want to sing the songs, have a good time, and that's it.
When I knew you were coming on, I wanted to have you play Vixen trivia, but I didn't want it to look like I was insulting you, or and it would have sucked if you didn't know any of them. But so we're gonna hold the Vixen trivia. But I think it's great, and your bandmates, um, obviously they approved it after that first show. Everyone was so happy,
Oh,
and a lot of dates for Vixen. Again,
yeah,
I'll have that link.
yeah.
And here you are. How many shows has it been so far?
I think I have about maybe 5, 6. Yeah, it's not many, but I mean, listen, the energy on stage is just electric. Like everything, like I can't wait. When I have to come home, I'm like kind of sad because I have to, it's we get lost in that vibe and we have so much fun, and then it's over and you're like, already? Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Is the traveling is difficult for everyone, but you're traveling out of Canada. Is it difficult?
Yeah, well, because I'm East Coast, it's not so bad. We don't, and I think I feel bad for Julia because she's in LA, so sometimes just to travel further. But it did take it was for a minute, but I'm fine. I mean, I just need to relax and like reset, and I'm fine. But I love flying. I love traveling. I was touring Asia and the Middle East for so long that I was used to it, but then I took a big break, and now back to traveling. But I love it. I love everything about it. It's
Mhm.
you just feel so carefree and just woo, freedom.
Yeah. Well, as you're learning by being part of these '80s heavy metal bands, that you're going to see a lot of the Midwest and mostly the Midwest. You'll see
Yeah,
a lot of the South. Those
coming.
places. Yeah,
Hopefully
those
we can go
places.
to Europe and then we can come here to Canada. But so far, so good. So got a lot more dates coming, and it looks good. It looks good. I'm super excited.
You're juggling your schedule because you do other things as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm also it's tough though because I want to book shows because I released my latest album was released in May, and I purposely released this album because I miss Montreal. I miss performing here in my hometown. So in order to do that, I was like, you know what? Let's release um covers and original music, English and French. And so I want to tour this album next year, but VIXEN is my priority right now. So we're kind of like I'm kind of like holding off on dates, but it's gonna get there somehow. It's just kind of getting the groove with VIXEN, and so I have my album, and then I have Trans-Siberian Orchestra is fine for the winter. That was like that was right off the bat, that was like easy. To with the VIXEN dates, it was fine. And what else? I mean, I'm singing with obviously with a few friends here as like an invited guest and stuff. So I'm pretty busy. It's again, living the dream. Literally, it's just wonderful to just sing for a living and being able to take care of myself and my voice and like just taking care, like exercising and getting rest and relaxation and all that. It's I'm juggling it. I'm handling it pretty well, I gotta say.
Yeah. Sure, it seems that way. Is it too early to talk about new music for VIXEN? Have you guys discussed it?
I've heard that they want to, but I don't know when and how. But I've just heard but I don't know details. But I've heard yes, there definitely is going to be new music.
It seemed like that's the direction they wanted to go in, at least singles, because they put out a single not too long ago, and so it seems like that's something. And you certainly have a background that would be good for new music. You've certainly cranked out plenty of music of your own.
Yes.
And as a collaboration, great things could happen. And I think nowadays, in this genre, I think a single is kind of enough. Maybe an EP, maybe a few singles into a record, but people have short attention spans, and VIXEN has a lot of songs that you got to get to in a short time. Sometimes you're playing 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Well, there's 5 or 6 songs that anyone going to see VIXEN wants to hear, and so it's a hard thing to incorporate. But I look forward to seeing how this band evolves. I don't think that Roxy is interested in just being a legacy band. I don't think she's trying to say, it's VIXEN. Don't pay any attention to who's on stage. I think she's likes that the ladies have their own personalities. Britt Lightning, Julia Lagi, they all have their own thing that they bring to it, and so I think that's why new music could be up to it. As I've said, I'm hard on bands with different members who've changed, but VIXEN has seemed to make it work, and I think the fans enjoy it. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't believe it, but I see the response.
Thank you.
People really enjoy it, and I think people are really excited to see you. Any kind of gossip or drama on the internet has a very short window, and now you're in. And now we'll see what comes next. It's no longer who's it going to be, how long is it going to last, what is and that's why I'm so happy that you're here talking about how it happened and what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking forward to it too. Like I'm still learning new songs, and we're just hitting the stage and just making it work. Like it's only been 5-6 shows, so it's definitely gotten, like, from the first show to last weekend. Wow, there's a big change. It just keeps getting better and better and better, and we're like, our energies and the way we just keep moving on stage, and and then the crowds too, the crowd's reaction, and everybody's such a blast to perform with the songs, and I'm obviously it's a lot. Of course, it's a lot of songs, but the songs are easier, and I'm not in my head, and I'm having a good time, and so these things kind of take time sometimes, but most important is that we're having a good time, and I still feel like it's surreal. I look back and I see Roxy on the drums, and I'm like, what? Like, it's just like, I just want to jump up on the riser all the time, and just kind of always get in everybody's face, and it's just so much fun. So I would, of course, new music would be amazing, and I'm just so happy. I mean, I'm like, it's just, this is wonderful for me. It's a great time, and I want to grow, and I learn from the girls as well, and I'm just, I think my voice is so good for these songs, so it's super exciting.
It's funny that you say you want to jump on the drum riser. At that first show at the Honda Center, the drum riser was either Spinal Tap or Kiss. It was so high up. You weren't getting up there.
I was so disappointed. I know. I was like, no. I know. It was crazy. And she's so far away. But Yeah, that first show, honestly, I don't even remember it. It just went so fast. And of course, with the hype and of course, I was a tiny bit nervous, and of course, I had to like mess up the lyrics to the most important song. Ah, my goodness! But I mean, you know what? I don't pay attention to like whatever. I just move forward and stay positive. That's just the kind of person I am. I'm happy. The girls are happy. Good mood, positivity all the time, and you just keep moving forward. And we work together as a team, as a family, and we just and keep going.
I've joked on this show multiple times that I've never seen more alcohol on a rider in my life than a Vixen. Those ladies enjoy a cocktail, but they all enjoy a different drink. So therefore, sometimes their rider has all of them. Is there something that you drink?
I'm not a drinker, actually. I like
Mhm.
to have some. I'm pretty boring. I mean, listen, I've been there, done that. I want to take care of my instruments, so for me, it's I'm not a drinker. I mean, if I do drink, there's this amazing whiskey that is made here in Quebec. It's whiskey and maple syrup.
Wow,
Yeah,
sounds Canadian.
I mean, I love sweet. It sounds amazing. I brought half a bottle to the girls, and they were like, "Oh my god!" But I got to stop bringing it because I will end up being a drinker. It's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, they'll all be ready to move to Canada so they could get a maple syrup whiskey.
And I mean, who doesn't like a little vino here and there with your with your meal? But when I'm singing and I'm performing, I really can't drink because it affects the vocal cords and
There,
so
more
yeah.
for them. More for them.
There you go. Exactly.
So, um, it's exciting. The rest of the year is exciting for you, as we know. Come November, December, just like Bloss, you'll be in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm really grateful that they allow me to do that because that's definitely a big one for me. The TSO is 9 years now. That's going to be amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience.
I believe it could go on forever. That show, Christmas isn't going away anytime soon. So I think that it's such a franchise, and obviously Paul O'Neill, who created it, has passed, but the family and the legacy continues. So
Absolutely.
there's so much to link. It's all going to be in the description of this video, so people can catch you with Vixen, people can catch you with Trans-Siberian, and like I said, people can also check out your solo music because there's a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's my latest one that I released in May. I got two original songs that I wrote in English, of course. Some of them are in French, but yeah, those are really cool. They're fun, and I'm excited about them.
Yeah, and again, I say a lot on this show also that music is it's harder to get paid for music, but boy is it accessible, and that's not a bad thing. Someone watching right now can go and listen to your music, and then maybe you make a fan for life.
Absolutely. I've already made like a few new fans, like a lot. My phone blew up, my social media platform blew up, as if I was on the show again. It was incredibly, I'm incredibly humbled and just, I'm loving everybody's, comments and, I feel, their energy and I'm really grateful. I honestly didn't know Vixen was so huge. And so I'm like, just I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the connections I'm making, and it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's sort of like maybe the rock star movie or one of those things.
Wow.
One of those kind of experiences that
Yeah.
here you are, all of a sudden you're in this band. The only difference is it wasn't that you didn't know the band. You learned, you had on the job training, as they say.
Yeah. I remember when I was listening to the songs, I was like, please, please, please. I hope I like the songs. I hope I like the songs. I hope I like the songs. 'Cause I didn't want to be yelling or screaming because I did that in the past with another band and it's not fun, man. You get migraines every time you finish. And now I really could sing from my gut. This is who I am. So it's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. When you go into something and you discover it, yeah, you have to go, oh, I hope this is good. I hope it's a range that I want to sing. And
Yeah.
fortunately, it's all turned out. So links are in the description. Rosa, thank you so much for joining me. And sharing your story, and I look forward to seeing you. I'm sure I'll see you in a few weeks somewhere.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
yeah, it's been a pleasure, Jason. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to see you soon too.
Yes, thank you, and thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you all again.